Resist. One Girl's Fight Back Against the Nazis by Tom Palmer, narrated by Anna Gilthorpe and published by Barrington Stoke Limited. One. Velp, the Netherlands, 1943, under occupation. Edda didn't have time to change direction before the level crossing barrier came down. The barrier blocked the road that ran over the railway track to the side of the station. With the train about to leave, she was forced to stop along with a dozen other cyclists. A pair of German soldiers manning the checkpoint ran their eyes over Edda and the others. Edda didn't dare look at them. If they saw the fear on her face, they would be suspicious. They might guess what she was doing. But Edda knew she could not just turn and cycle away. That would also draw their attention. She had to wait and behave as if she was just an ordinary teenager cycling home from school. It was fortunate for Edda that there were other cyclists being held up at the barrier. It helped her to blend in. The Germans had been occupying the Netherlands for over 3 years now, and because they had taken almost all the country's petrol, most people travelled by bicycle. But as the Germans had also taken most of the rubber needed for inner tubes, those cyclists had to stuff their tyres with straw, while others had even made wooden wheels for their bikes. The Nazis took everything, Edda thought. You couldn't do anything or go anywhere without being reminded that they were here. But the state of her bicycle tyres were the least of Edda's problems. The real worry was what she was carrying. A sheaf of illegal resistance newsletters that she was to deliver to addresses south of the railway line. Sheets printed with details about the latest anti-German resistance activity. Attacks on Nazi soldiers or troop trains, for example, as the Dutch people tried to fight back against their occupiers. If the Nazi guards at the checkpoint found the newsletters, they'd torture Edda to find out where she had got them from. Then they'd kill her. No doubt about that. Edda could feel sweat on her forehead even though it was a cool evening. Eyes still fixed ahead, she tried to look calm as she remembered the words of the man who had handed her the newsletters to deliver. "Avoid the Nazis if you can," he'd said. "If you think they're going to stop you, throw the newsletters away. If that's not possible, act like an innocent child so they don't search you." Edda had no chance of throwing anything away now. She was just a few metres from the German soldiers, and her heart raced ever faster as she saw that one of them had started to check each cyclist's ID card. All people living in the Netherlands aged 14 and over had to carry an ID card bearing their photograph, fingerprints and other personal details. Edda now fished hers out of her bag, her mind a frenzy of panic questions. What if they searched her? What if they found the newsletters? She glanced at the card in her hand, feeling the usual jolt of seeing the name there. Edda. Not her real name, which was Audrey. But when she had returned from the Netherlands from school in England nearly 4 years earlier, her mother had banned her from using Audrey. It was an English name and identified her as British, like her father. That alone would make the Germans suspicious of her, and perhaps more curious about what she was carrying. As she waited for her turn, Edda closed her eyes and tried to remember why on earth she had agreed to take on this dangerous task. The fear she felt now was too much to bear, but she knew she only had herself to blame. Edda had heard about the work of the Dutch resistance and wanted to get involved, to do more than just wash bandages and serve food to patients in the hospital where she volunteered after school. And she knew that the doctor there, Dr. Hendrik Visser uit Hoofd, was an important figure in the resistance. When she'd approached him, Dr. Visser uit Hoofd was unsure about her offer of help. Edda was just a young girl. "Do you really want to get involved in such dangerous work?" he asked. But Edda was determined. So Dr. Visser uit Hoofd gave her a test. He asked her to memorise 5 addresses, which she did easily. So then he challenged her to remember 10. Again, this was easy for Edda. "You have a fine memory," he commented. "It's from ballet," Edda told him. "We have to remember dozens of positions and moves. We have to have good memories." The doctor smiled. "Then I have the perfect..."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?